thank you everybody for joining us for this this call for what I think is going to be a fight of the year, if not the fight of the year, between champions Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, the World Welterweight Championship Unification at the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York, Saturday, March 4th. This will be a telecast of Showtime Boxing on CBS, presented by Premier Boxing Champions. The tickets for the live event start at $50, and they're on sale right now. There are plenty of very, very low-priced tickets still available upstairs. We'd like as many fans as possible to be there. You can purchase your tickets online at Ticketmaster.com, BarclaysCenter.com, or by calling 1-800-745-3000, and they're also available at the American Express box office at the Barclays Center. As I noted, this telecast will be Showtime Championship Boxing on CBS, and the CBS telecast will be live, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. It's been a great roll of boxing that ended 2016 for Showtime and is beginning 2017. The fights have been sensational on every platform that's been put out there by Showtime Boxing. This is Showtime Boxing on CBS Broadcast Network Television, which is a great story in itself, and a great opportunity for the most eyeballs possible to see one of the very best fights you can make in all of boxing. And I'd like to bring up to say a few words on this call. The man that's responsible for this great run for Showtime Boxing, Stephen Espinosa. Stephen?
Thanks very much, Lou. I'd echo your sentiments. Personally, I do believe this is boxing's most anticipated fight of the year. Both Danny and Keith are undefeated. They're in the prime of their careers, and obviously both hold major world title belts in the welterweight division. They're both highly skilled boxers who are also powerful punchers, and this is a rare battle of undefeated champions in fighting to unify the division. So rare, in fact, that this is just the 10th world title unification bout in the history of the welterweight division. This will go down among the likes of Leonard versus Hearns, Trinidad versus De La Hoya, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. This is the kind of elite company this fight is in being a welterweight world title unification fight. In fact, with Keith Thurman, the WBA champion, and Danny Garcia, the WBC champion, they'll be fighting to unify the exact same titles that Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns unified in their 1981 Fight of the Year. And our last real statistic here, this will be just the third unification fight between undefeated welterweights in boxing history. Again, only the third time in boxing history that undefeated welterweights have met to unify titles, the last being Trinidad De La Hoya in 1999. So given the quality of this matchup and the rarity of this matchup, is no wonder why we've selected this bout to be just the second primetime boxing event on the CBS TV network in nearly 40 years. This showdown obviously presents huge implications in the welterweight division, which has historically always been boxing's glamour division. With the retirement of Floyd Mayweather, this fight will arguably determine who is the face of the new 147-pound division, and certainly deserving the spot on the pound-for-pound list. With that, I'll turn it back to Lou. Suffice it to say, I can't wait until March 4th.
Thank you, Stephen. But before I turn it back to the fighters, I just want to make one comment. It's 11 days before the fight, and we wanted to give everyone an opportunity to talk to Thurman, to talk to Keith, to talk to Danny, to discuss their preparation, where things stand right now with the fight on the immediate horizon. They're going to be on the call together to answer your questions after they each say a few words. But I'd ask that there be no questions relating to Angel or anything that happened at the press conference. What's happened has happened, and it's now in the hands of Angel and the New York State Athletic Commission, and it'll be dealt with there. So just a heads up that if anyone doesn't hear me and starts to ask a question, I'm going to interrupt. First, I'd like to bring you the WBA World Welterweight Champion with a record of 27-0 with 22 KOs, the pride of Clearwater, Florida, Keith one-time Thurman. Keith?
How's everyone doing today?
We're all good, champ.
All right, well, I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to the questions and looking forward to this fight. It's going to be a great fight.
Danny?
Yeah, I'm
Danny
here.
Garcia, 33-0, 19 KOs out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Like Keith, 28 years old. Danny's a WBC World Welterweight Champion. Danny?
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I want to thank the media for joining us for this conference call. I'm excited about the fight March 4th. Can't wait to be victorious that night. Thank you.
With no further ado, we'll open it up for the questions from the press.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Our first question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, everybody. I wanted to start with a couple of questions for Keith. Hey, Keith.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
I'm good. My first question for you, Keith, is this. After you knocked out Collazo, you had 11 months out of the ring. I don't think it was your choice necessarily. And then after your next fight, when you had the win against Sean Porter, also on a big CBS event, then it was another 9 months off until you have this fight coming up with Danny. So on the one hand, you had good exposure because the Collazo fight was in front of a lot of people on ESPN. The Sean Porter fight was in front of a lot of people on CBS, but hard to build a name when you have such long gaps between your fights. So I wanted to get your view of, on the one hand, having your fights put out there on big platforms, but not having a regular schedule so the people that may have seen and enjoyed those fights get an opportunity to see you more often to help build you up into a even bigger name than you are. What is your view of the balancing act between a great exposure, but really not fighting often enough, it would seem, for a top fighter?
Well, I just didn't want to have a stay busy fight, man. I just wanted to have the fight that I wanted, and it's the fight that we're getting. So, if I had to wait for it, I wait for it, When fighters are staying busy, they put themselves on a certain fight schedule, and then sometimes it's hard to make the big fights happen because, this fighter's in training camp and he's getting ready for a fight, and then the other guy starts his training camp to fight somebody else. And I just wanted the fights that I want, man. I'm not complaining about my career. I'm not complaining about my exposure or my celebrity status. I'm not really boxing to be a super celebrity, even though there is superstardom in the sport of boxing. I'm living the dream that I've always wanted to live, and I'm proud of it. This is a fight that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm excited about it. And then from here, I am hoping to, give you guys a minimum of 2 fights this year. So we'll be more active than we have been recently. But, things have happened. Last year we had the injury, the car accident. That was a setback. And when setbacks occur, there's nothing you can do. I'm young. I plan on being in this game for as long as I possibly can be. So I'm not complaining, man, and I'm happy to be where I am in the sport of boxing today.
Okay, so I know that I think if I'm not mistaken, you would have preferred to have this fight if possible at the end of last year. Danny, obviously, and his team decided to take the fight that they took at the end of the year in Philadelphia. So are you saying that you were willing to just wait it out, let Danny have the tune-up fight that he said that he needed, and then make the fight now as opposed to trying to force the issue at the end of last year? You were content to sort of lay back and let this fight get made when it got made?
Yeah, this is the fight I wanted, and I had no objective of waiting for it if that's what we needed to do. It's not optimal, but at this stage, I can live off of one paycheck, and I was able to do that. My body went through a lot with the car accident and the rehab that I had to go through. So honestly, too, last year was a big year for me. It was my 20th year anniversary in boxing, in the sport of boxing. And so even though I fought once, I got to sit back, relax, and reflect, and really just pat myself on the back that, you're champion of the world. You've accomplished the dreams that you and Ben Getty set out for yourself as a young child. And I know it might be aggravating for fight fans, but for me, it was a blessing, man. I was happy to just reflect on all of my accomplishments and really just get ready to put on a tremendous performance for 2017. I got to travel the world a little bit last year and just do things for Keith Thurman, man, and just appreciate, what I've accomplished and the lifestyle that I'm living today. And, it is what it is. I could have stayed busy. There were some options out there. Danny took his tune-up that he didn't want to go from Robert Guerrero and sitting, and I just fought Sean Porter, so I would have been a little bit more active than them, and they wanted to get back into activity and then take the big fight. And there's nothing wrong with that. I respect that, and that's why I waited to make this fight happen, because this is the fight I wanted. I believe this is the fight fans deserve, and I wanted to challenge myself and go for my second title.
I want to ask you also, Keith, and Danny, maybe when Keith is done with the answer, you can answer the question also. When you hear Stephen Espinoza in the introductory remarks talk about how few welterweight unification fights there have been in boxing, and that you guys are fighting to unify the same belts that the great Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns fought for, in their very famous fight, many, many years ago, at the pinnacle of the sport, those two guys, Hall of Famers, both of them. How does it make you feel to know that the hardware that you guys are going to bring into the ring to try to unify are the same titles that those two great fighters had? Keith, your thoughts about where this fight lies, perhaps, in the history of boxing. And then, Danny, if you can answer also when Keith is finished.
I mean, it's what boxing's all about, is making history. That's my ultimate goal, is to not just make a living for myself, not just live my American dream and accomplish my goals as an athlete, but my ultimate goal has been, ever since I was a child, is to make history in the sport of boxing, so that when I'm done boxing, people get to remember who Keith One-Time Thurman really was, what he brought to the welterweight division, and hopefully, arguably, when people start talking about their favorite fighters and the greatest fighters of all time, that there will be somebody standing in a circle who said, I really love that boy Keith One-Time Thurman. For me, that's what it's all about.
Danny, your thoughts on that, about the unifying of those belts that those great fighters had and the rarity of these welterweight unifications? Yeah,
it feels good, man. It's an honor at the end of the day. I feel like I'm cut from that cloth, that Duran, that Hagler cloth. I'm a throwback type fighter. I'm an old school fighter on the streets of Philadelphia. So, it feels good, to be fighting for those titles and give me the opportunity to win my fourth world title.
Danny, you've been an underdog many times in your fights. You surprise a lot of people because you keep on winning. You're still undefeated. You fought a number of good opponents. I think you're the underdog again in this fight against Thurman. Is that something you're just basically used to and don't even think about? Or do you think about it and just make it a part of your preparation mentally to want to go out there and try to prove people wrong, to think that your opponent is going to defeat you?
At the end of the day, I let the critics be the critics. I let the the betters be the betters. At the end of the day, they don't know what I could do. I've been here before. It's not new to me. So at the end of the day, like I said before, I know what I could do. I know I'm a great champion. I'm a true champion, and that's what I'm gonna show March 4th.
All right, very good, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Our next question is going to come from Eddie Goldman from the No Holds Bar. Please go ahead. Eddie, your line is live.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much. Sorry for that. Hi, hello everybody. First question for Keith. Keith, you guys are about almost the same age. You have similar records. You're both undefeated. You both have major world belts. Tell us why you're very confident you're going to win this fight. Tell us why you think you're going to win on March 4th.
Well, being an undefeated champion, I've never lost. I feel strong. I have a strong amateur background. He does too. I'm just bred for this sport, man. I mean, this is my life. This is what I do. I love the challenge. I love the fight game. I love another man trying to get the best of me right in front of me, going toe to toe with me. I just live for it, man. I'm always willing to never back down. I'm bigger than Danny naturally. He was always smaller than me in the amateurs. He's smaller than me in the pros. He's moving up. He might hold his weight well, but, naturally I'm just a little bit bigger. So that gives me some confidence there. We both have great records, great resumes, lots of knockouts, but I have less fights, more knockouts. So I believe that I do punch harder and that, I just edge them out statistically a little bit. And it's just going to come down to the fight, who lands the right punches at the right time, and strength and conditioning and just everything that the fight game's about, man. I always come prepared for these kind of fights. I'm just looking forward to it. Nowadays, win, lose, or draw, I'll always be a champion, man. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm not worried about my reputation. Like I said, I'm living my dream. I'm trying to make history, but it's not easy to beat Keith Thurman. I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me, beat me. I'm going to shake your hand at the end of the fight. I'm going to congratulate you at the end of the fight, but I don't bow down for nobody, and I know that I'm the greatest challenge that most fighters will ever face. So that's where my confidence comes from, and I'm just looking forward to the fight. It's going to be a great fight.
And Danny, same question for you. Why do you feel so confident you're going to win this fight?
I'm confident. I'm a true champion. I've been in these big fights before. I've been in unification fights before. I feel I'm the better fighter, the better all-around fighter. I always rise to the occasion, and that's pretty much it. At the end of the day, Danny Garcia, he comes to fight and he comes to win.
Is there anything in Keith's record or having watched Keith's fights, Danny, that gives you confidence that you see something that you could beat him?
We've seen things, we've seen things, at the end of the day, we did our homework, we did the math. So, we coming in the fight with a great game plan, and, if anything happens, then we got to adjust. But, we did our homework, and we're confident going into this fight.
And Keith, same thing. Is there anything you've seen in watching Danny's recent fights that tells you that you see something you're going to be able to win?
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, Danny has always won. He has always prevailed in his fights. But ultimately, looking at the books and everything, looking at the record, I think Danny has been in more close decisions than I have been. The closest fight that I've been in was my most recent fight with Sean Porter, a fighter who knows me very well, and somebody who I competed up against coming off of an injury and a big layoff. So, we feel stronger this camp. We feel more prepared and ready for this camp, and we believe that we'll be able to make a statement. But he's just let people be in the fight with him more than I believe fighters have been in the fight with me. I think I've had more dominant decisions over my opponents than Garcia, and that gives me confidence in winning this fight.
All right, thank you. Good luck to everybody. I'm looking forward to it.
Our next question is going to come from John Gatling from the New York Fights. Please go ahead.
Hi, Keith. Hi, Danny. How you doing?
Good.
Keith, my question for you is, I remember being at the Collazo fight back in July 2015, and you had Danny Garcia on your mind then, and, your desire to fight him then. Is this fight personal for you?
Nah, man. Honestly, this fight is more amateur for me, man. This this is a kid that I've known since we were kids, man. You know, I mean, if anything, I'm proud of everything I've accomplished. I'm proud of everything he's accomplished, man. He's lived the life that I've lived in a different state, in a different scenario. But you know, we're like two pit bulls, man. You know, we were bred for this at a young age. We're not new fighters. We didn't pick up boxing yesterday. This isn't new to us, man. You know, this is the career that we chose while we were growing up. When people were trying to figure out what they want to be, we knew what we wanted to be. We knew we wanted to be fighters, and this is what we wanted to do, man. And I remember the day that Sean Porter turned pro and he started to compete at 147, because Porter, as an amateur, competed at 165. And I remember when somebody passed on the knowledge that, oh, Sean Porter is having his pro debut and this and that, and he's fought so many fights now and he's competing at 147. I mean, he was nobody to you guys and to the reporters at the time. And I knew from then I probably was actually nobody too. But I knew, I said, oh, well, me and Sean Porter are going to have to fight one day, you know, and sure enough, we have. And now me and Danny Garcia have to fight. It just is what it is, man. And like I said, man, I mean, there's other fighters out there today that I grew up with in the amateurs, and it's just great to see so many people just accomplishing their goals and their dreams. And, you know, in life, you have to fight for survival. You know, everyone's fighting and everyone's struggling, but we fighters, we truly fight to make a name for ourselves, man. And it kind of makes me laugh. It's a little humorous to me. And, you know, me and Danny Garcia, we're two champions. We're going to be going toe-to-toe. And at the end of the night on March 4th, one of us will prevail and one of us will be elevated in the welterweight division. And that's just how it's going to be.
How you feel about that, Swift? Is this personal?
You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's a business. So it's always personal when you go in there. You're going to, you know, fight with somebody. At the end of the day, we're not going in there, you know, to hug and to dance. So at the end of the day, it's a fight. So it's always personal to a certain level. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a fight, and it is what it is.
Right. Keith also made reference to the fact that you fought Lucas Matisse, you know, and beat him, Amir Khan, at the top of their peaks at 140, and he kind of likened himself to both of them combined at 147, saying that you don't belong in his division. What's your response to that? How do you plan on rectifying that situation on March 4th?
Yeah, I'm the WBC welterweight champion of the world. You know, I've been in the ring with a lot of great fighters. And come March 4th, you know, I'm just fighting, in my book, I'm just fighting another name in the sport of boxing, and that's basically it. You know, I'm ready for everything. I've always been ready for everything in my career. You know, I'm a true champion. I fight anybody, and I'm having a hell of a camp, and I can't wait to go in there March 4th and show the world again why I'm one of the best fighters in the world.
Your response to that, Keith?
I mean, it's going to be a great fight, man. You got two tremendous champions. You know, I just believe that I am something that Danny has never faced before, and it's my job to prove that March 4th. It's coming up right around the corner. He's prepared physically and mentally. I'm prepared physically and mentally. Like I said, we didn't start boxing yesterday. This is nothing new. The better man will prevail soon enough.
Awesome. Good luck, guys. Definitely looking forward to seeing this fight on March 4th like everybody else. Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Bob Valen from USA Today. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, how's it going? Question for Danny. This is kind of playing off what Dan Raphael asked you, but do you feel like you're underrated?
I've been underrated my whole career.
Why?
You know, I've been underrated my whole career. Every time I beat somebody, there's always an excuse, or you know, every time I'm in a tough fight, you know, it's always controversial, whatever, or a close fight. But you know, it is what it is. You know, that's the image the media is trying to give me. But at the end of the day, I know I'm a true champion, and the hard work that I put in day out, you know, I'm confident in anything I do in life. So, you know, I can't. My job is not really to worry about the media and, you know, people underrating me, or it is what it is, because I know I'm a true champion, and that's it.
You know, I've read where you said that if you win this fight, you feel like you will be the face of boxing. Why do you say that?
Well, if you look at the last 5 years in the sport of boxing, from 2012, and you looked at the level of opposition that every other champion has faced, and you look at the level of opposition that I faced, and the divisions that I won and unified are the hardest divisions in the sport of boxing. So if you go off the people I faced and in the last 5 years, the titles that I won, it makes me the face of boxing.
Okay. And question for Keith. Keith, do you feel that way too? That if you win this fight, that you will be the so-called face of boxing?
The winner of this fight is going to be the man of 147 division. And lately, the welterweight division, whoever's at the top of 147 kind of has been the face of boxing, and it is due to Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao and things of that nature. And, the heavyweight division is coming back, but the fight fans, true boxing fans, they're on everything, They're on to Triple G, they're Canelo, Wilder and Joshua, but still, with all that going on, man, 147 is a tremendous weight class, and the winner of this fight is going to get a little bit of what I call spotlight priority, man. They're gonna step up into the world of boxing. They're gonna get talked about a lot more, and they're gonna get some high expectations set upon them. It just is what it is, man. It's what comes when you are champion and you stay champion and you keep making a name for yourself. So, it's our job to fight. It's our job to win, and it's your guys' job to talk about it. And we're always willing to do these interviews and things of that nature. So it's just what comes with the territory, man. But I'm looking forward to making history at 147 and holding down this weight class for a few more years.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck. Appreciate it.
Our next question is going to come from David Malandra from Philly Sports Live. Please go ahead.
Danny and Keith. Danny, first of all, what does it mean to put the city of Philadelphia in the national spotlight for this fight? And for Keith, what did you take away from your last fight against Sean Porter? And one final one, will you guys have a rematch if the guys don't like the outcome of the fight?
It feels good to be putting Philadelphia on the spotlight. Philadelphia is a city of great champions. It's a fighting city. Go back for Frazier, Bernard Hopkins, Mildred Keller, all the great champions coming out of Philly. So, the Philadelphia sports teams have struggled a little bit, to make it far in any sport. And, I've been a champion for 5 years in the city of Philadelphia, so I feel like I'm holding the city down properly, and they're going to be proud of me March 4th.
So, my fight versus Sean Porter, I just think I showed once again that just because a fighter puts his best foot forward doesn't mean that he's going to beat Keith one-time Thurman. Sean Porter put on a tremendous performance. It was a very competitive fight, but I won the fight unanimous, 7 rounds to 5 rounds. It was what it was. I got cut. I didn't let that distract me in the fight. I fought with hematomas. I've taken good, powerful shots before, and I'm always competitive in the fight, man. And I just think that the Sean Porter fight was just another example on how it's not easy. There's never a gimme when you're stepping in the ring with Keith one-time Thurman. And when it comes to rematching Danny Garcia, we just got to get this fight over with. We got to see what's happening. I haven't heard anything about any rematch policies or anything. Fight fans, portion of them still want me to rematch Sean Porter. And we're young enough, man. Rematches can happen. I don't think, because it's not mandated or anything, I highly doubt that a rematch will be instant unless it was to be a draw or something of that nature. And then even then, who knows what our teams will come up with. So, you know, rematches and what's on our mind. Our mind is getting the victory on March 4th.
Okay, well, our next question is going to come from Lim Satterfield from Premier Boxing Champions. Please go ahead.
Hey, guys. How you doing? How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Hey, Danny, you know, Keith points to his Collazo fight and the hematoma he had in one fight as overcoming some adversity, which he did. Would you qualify any of the fights maybe against Peterson, Herrera, Judah, any of those fights, or maybe even the Matisse fight as overcoming any kind of adversity? And I mean, I know you feel you've proved yourself, but as you said, you have your so-called haters out there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I faced adversity my whole life, you know, not even in boxing, you know, just in the street life of Philadelphia. But yeah, I've been facing adversity since I've been a champion. You know, I faced adversity through the American fight. You know, he cut me early. He won the first couple rounds good. I came back. I stopped him. You know, the Lucas Matisse fight, you know, I was an underdog. You know, he put pressure on me. You know, I dropped him late. You know, the Peterson fight, you know, tough, crafty, you know, veteran champion who's faced everyone in the sport. You know, so everything I've been through in my career, you know, just led me to this fight. You know, I'm a seasoned 20 years old. You know, I'm a seasoned champion. And I feel good, man. I've been through a lot of adversity in my life, and that's what I live for, to overcome anything.
Do you feel that you have, the fights you've taken at 147 have been all together to prepare you for this particular one? You were really vocal after your last win about this fight. You feel like you've lined up the right fights to get you into this position for this weight class?
Yeah, to be honest with you, you know, I've been a welterweight. I was just squeezing myself down to 140. Like, after I fought Matisse, you know, my plan was to move up to 147 in 2013, you know, because I couldn't make the weight no more. You know, we had the title, so, you know, we decided to, you know, keep squeezing ourselves down. It kind of hurt me in a couple performances. I wasn't able to perform my best because of the weight, but, you know, I feel like I've been a true welterweight. You know, I should have been a welterweight since 2013, so, you know, I'm bigger. You know, I'm tall for the weight class, and, you know, I got big shoulders. So, I definitely feel like welterweight, a natural weight class. I was just squeezing myself down for all them years, and I'm happy that I'm able to let my body grow and fill into the welterweight division now.
Okay, and then finishing up, do you feel that you are at your strongest right now? That's one question. And then also for both of you, could you each compare your results against Robert Guerrero? You know, Keith fought him 2 fights before you did. Some people felt like he was fading, but still had a good fight against you. Keith feels like he knocked him down and you didn't, and he was more dominant. So you could talk to both of those things.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm at my strongest right now. You know, it feels good to let your body grow and train and not have to worry about weight, and training to get better and not to lose weight. But you know, as far as the Guerrero fight, you know, Guerrero's a tough, crafty veteran. You know, styles make fights. You know, he knocked him down. I didn't, but I beat him unanimous decision. You know, I just boxed him or whatever, and it is what it is.
Keith?
Yeah, you know, I mean, fights like that is just something for the fight fans and for everyone to do what we call a comparison or a measuring stick. You know, we got something in common there. We both dominated Guerrero. I did drop him. You know, Danny didn't drop him, but Danny did win unanimously. You know, I commentated that fight. I had Danny winning the fight. Guerrero was competitive for a few rounds, but Danny stayed composed, and eventually he just started setting up traps and just started teeing off on Guerrero. Guerrero never made an adjustment, and just throughout the round, by round, it just became an easy fight for Danny Garcia. Excuse me, for Danny Garcia. And it is what it is, man. Manny Pacquiao beat fighters that Floyd Mayweather, beat. And Manny Pacquiao stopped certain people. Floyd didn't. It didn't stop Floyd Mayweather from winning the fight.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, this is just going to be a competitive fight between Keith One-Time Thurman and Danny Swift Garcia, man. I mean, it's going to be a good fight. We're going to challenge each other, and one man's going to get the best of the other man. End of story.
Guys, thanks a lot. Good luck in the fight. Appreciate it.
Our last question is going to come from Dante Williams from Dante Boxing Nation. Please go ahead.
How you guys doing, Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman? I want to ask both of you guys the same question. Let's start with you, Keith Thurman. How would you compare Danny to everyone you faced before? Would you say well-rounded, like comparing them to Sean Porter and everyone else?
Well, I'd have to say that, Danny is definitely probably the most accomplished fighter that I've faced. I've faced a lot of veterans, but you're a veteran when you got some years under your belt. Danny is still in his prime. He's undefeated, and he's ready, and he wants to keep that ball rolling. So I faced Sean. He was young, but he wasn't undefeated. And their fight styles are different. Danny's very composed. Like you said, they got a fight strategy. And for the most part, he does always find a way to win. And we're going to try to be a little bit more crafty and make it so that he can't solve this puzzle March 4th. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, this is just going to be a good fight. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. We've known each other for many years. We've never gotten to mix it up. The time is now. Everything's on the line. There's no better time than now. There's no better network than CBS. So I'm just looking forward to this, man. This is going to be a terrific fight.
The same question for you, Danny. Would you, comparing him to everyone you've ever faced before, would you say he's the most well-rounded on paper, Danny?
I say every fighter has their own identity. You can never really compare fighters. All fighters are different. So I think, when you prepare for a fight, you got to prepare to make adjustments and things of that nature. But, he's a 147-pound world champion. I'm a 147-pound world champion. And it's a unification fight. And, like they said, he's a nationally bigger guy than me. We'll have to see that about that March 4th. The size difference in the ring. And, I feel like I'm the bigger guy, even though I'm coming up from a smaller weight class. I'm physically strong. I have punching power on both hands. And come March 4th, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And I'm ready for whatever comes to the table.
Okay, and is there any Vada or USADA testing in this fight, Danny or Keith?
Yeah, we're using anti-doping. I know I've been tested multiple times already. He should have been tested too, but they're anti-doping. Yep.
There has been USADA testing of both athletes for this fight, and Danny, as the WBC champion, is enrolled in the clean boxing program of the WBC, so he's always subject to that testing.
Okay, Danny, who are you sparring?
Anti-doping though. Huh?
What's that?
No, I said this was anti-doping. WBC didn't test for Vada this fight.
Okay, so you're saying it's Vada testing, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, there's no Vada testing. It's just anti-doping.
Okay.
Just want to make that clear.
USADA is testing both fighters for this particular fight. In order to be the WBC champion, as the WBC champion, Danny is enrolled in their year-round program. But the testing for this fight is USADA.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up, Lou. And also, I want to ask, who are you guys sparring with to prepare for each other, Danny?
I've been sparring with some great young undefeated prospects. Young fighters with a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, a lot of power. one kid from Jersey. His name is Julian Rodriguez, young explosive fighter. I believe he's going to be a world champion one day. We just have a lot of great work, and we're ready.
Okay, and you, Keith Thurman?
For me, I brought in one of Danny Garcia's past opponents and a veteran, Kendall Holt, and just got some of that veteran work, some good work, somebody who once upon a time coming up as a prospect, I possibly could have faced. And then my local boy, St. Pete, Clarence Booth. I think he's going to be on the undercard fighting some up-and-coming Russian. And, just a few different looks, man, and I just what we've been using for camp, man. We feel good. You never get to clone your opponent, so you just got to pick some people that you believe is going to get you some good work and get you ready for the fight.
Yeah, and this is my last question for both of you guys. Since I know you guys both want to unify the titles, we know that there's another unification bout, or not a unification bout, but another big welterweight championship bout, which is Kell Brook versus Errol Spence. Keith Thurman, starting with you, if I can get your prediction of how that fight plays out. And Danny after that.
Well, it's going to be a good fight. It's a great matchup. Errol's been calling out everybody. He's been steamrolling all the veterans and all the other opponents they've been putting in the ring with him. I do believe that Kell Brook is definitely the biggest challenge to date for him. When he fought the opponent that I faced, Bundu, before he got the knockdown and eventually the knockout upon Bundu, it was, for me, watching the fight, some of the most competitive rounds that Errol Spence has ever been through. I believe that Kell Brook is a better fighter than Bundu. And going overseas, he's going to have to make a statement. He's definitely going to have to win the fight hands down, preferably a knockdown, if not a stoppage. But I don't know if it's going to be as easy to break down Kell Brook as it was to break down Chris Algieri and Bundu. So, I know he's prepared for the challenge. I know he wants to bring the belt back home. I know he wants to face the winner of our fight. And, I love the fact that you have so many undefeated welterweights, young welterweights today. After March 4th, there'll be one less undefeated welterweight. And, through a few more eliminations, hopefully in the near future, we'll have undisputed welterweight champion of the world, something we haven't had in the sport of boxing for a long time. And I think it's just necessary. I think it's that time. And I don't think there's anything really holding us back from making that happen. So, I'm excited about it all. And I'm looking forward to the outcome of that fight, but most important, what matters the most is the outcome of my up-and-coming fight with Danny Garcia. And, it's right around the corner, so we're about to make this happen, and it's going to be a great fight as well.
You can't tell me who you think will win that fight, though, Thurman?
Was that question for me?
No, Thurman didn't tell me who he thought was going to win. I was trying to get a prediction.
I don't know, because we just don't have a lot to say about Kell Brook. We watched Kell Brook beat Sean Porter, and I've always said to myself that Kell Brook is like the black horse. He's in the, and you just don't know how much in the race he truly is, because we just don't have enough to measure his skills. So to me, Kell Brook has a terrific opportunity to showcase his skills and his talent to the welterweight division by facing this young, hungry fighter, Errol Spence, and then vice versa. Errol gets to make a big statement, because even though Kell Brook is coming off of a loss, he still has never been defeated by a welterweight. So it's just a very interesting fight, man. And I'm not in the ring, so I'm outside as a spectator. I'm just waiting to see who wins. I can care less, man. It's just going to be a good fight.
Now, very last question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hey, Danny, I had a question for you. I know Lou didn't want to talk about the topic, but I was curious just to get your take on your feelings about what happened with your father at the press conference.
You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. You know, it's a press conference. You know, I've seen worse things happen in press conferences before. You know, nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt in the press conference. So, you know, freedom of speech in America, you can say whatever you want to say. And it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, it's a fight coming March 4th, and that's all that really matters.
Were you embarrassed by what he had to say? I mean, yeah, there's free speech, but not necessarily.
No, not at all.
You're not allowed to incite people, is the point.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, my dad's from the inner city of Philadelphia, so he wasn't being racist. You know, people talk. I know it's not right, but people talk like that every day in the city of Philly or any inner city you come from. So he wasn't being racist. He was just talking like where he's from. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I didn't take it in no way because I know he didn't mean it in that way. So it is what it is.
Okay, so so I understand your point of view that because of your father's background, that perhaps if he's not a racist, that's fine. He also had some comments though where he basically threatened to physically assault a female publicist, Kelly Swanson. That is not a racist comment.
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all.
Dan, let's.
Okay, but you don't want to say that.
I think you answered the question.
Danny.
What was the question?
I just wanted to know: are you willing to say that your father maybe should not have said what he said?
To who?
To the whole thoughts that he laid out, whether it was invoking anti-gay language, anti-racist language, threatening a woman with physical violence, all those things taken into account.
He never threatened a woman. He never said nothing about gay. He never said nothing about women or gays. So I don't know where you guys are getting that from.
Yeah, let's just end it here.
Okay.
Yep, that's going to be it. Thank you.
All right.
And that was the last question.